Welcome to the Discourse Analyzer AI Toolkit, where articles come alive. You're listening to the audio version of our article. For the full text and an interactive experience, check out the link in the description below. Interact with any selection using our AI assistant to enhance your understanding. Let's explore.
Methodological Approaches in Gender Studies and Discourse Analysis. In the exploration of language and its pivotal role in constructing social realities, Critical Discourse Analysis, CDA, and the Ethnography of Communication emerge as crucial methodologies within gender studies and discourse analysis. The contributions of scholars such as Norman Fairclough, Toon A. van Dijk, and Deborah Tannen have been instrumental in unveiling the complex interrelations between discourse, gender, and power. Through CDA, researchers delve into the textual and societal mechanisms through which gender norms and power dynamics are perpetuated, leveraging the insights of Fairclough and van Dijk to dissect the intricate ways language enacts and challenges social hierarchies. Concurrently, the Ethnography of Communication, as applied by Tannen, offers a nuanced lens on the cultural and contextual subtleties of gendered communication, emphasizing the diversity of conversational styles across genders and the implications for interpersonal understanding and societal norms. This introduction sets the stage for a detailed examination of how these methodological approaches enrich our understanding of gender as a socially constructed and discursively mediated phenomenon, highlighting the ongoing dialogue between theory, methodology, and the lived realities of gender. 1. Critical Discourse Analysis, CDA. Critical Discourse Analysis, CDA, stands as a pivotal methodological approach within gender studies and discourse analysis, offering profound insights into how discourses perpetuate, challenge, and transform power relations in society. Norman Fairclough and Toon A. van Dijk are among the key figures whose contributions have significantly shaped the landscape of CDA, equipping researchers with robust analytical tools to explore the intricate ways in which power dynamics are embedded in and enacted through discourse. Their work emphasizes the role of language in social processes and structures, making CDA particularly valuable for examining issues of gender and power. Norman Fairclough's contributions. Three-dimensional framework. Fairclough developed a three-dimensional model for conducting CDA that considers text, discursive practice, and sociocultural practice. This model allows researchers to analyze texts not just as isolated entities but as part of broader discursive and social processes. It's particularly useful in gender studies for examining how gendered discourses operate across different levels of society and how they are produced and received within specific cultural contexts. Discourse as social practice. Fairclough emphasizes the view of discourse as a form of social practice that both shapes and is shaped by wider societal structures. This perspective is crucial for understanding how discourses of gender and sexuality contribute to the construction of social identities and power relations, and how they may reinforce or contest gender inequalities. Toon A. van Dijk's contributions. Socio-cognitive approach. Van Dijk's work is notable for its socio-cognitive approach, which focuses on the role of discourse in shaping social cognition and the ways in which power is exercised through control over discourse. This approach is instrumental in gender studies for exploring how gender norms and stereotypes are internalized through discourse and how they influence individuals' perceptions and behaviors. Power and ideology in discourse. Van Dijk has extensively explored the relationships between power, ideology, and discourse, offering insights into how dominance is enacted and reproduced through text and talk. His analyses of media discourses, political discourse, and everyday conversation provide methodologies for uncovering the subtle mechanisms through which gender ideologies are perpetuated and challenged in various domains. Methodological implications for gender studies and discourse analysis. Analyzing gendered power relations. CDA, informed by the work of Fairclough and van Dijk, equips researchers with the tools to analyze how gendered power relations are constructed and negotiated in discourse. This includes examining the representation of women and men in media, the discursive construction of masculinity and femininity in organizational contexts, and the ways in which language is used to challenge or reinforce gender norms. Interdisciplinary applications. The methodologies developed by Fairclough and Van Dijk support interdisciplinary research, enabling scholars from gender studies, sociology, political science, and beyond to apply CDA in their investigations of gender and power. This cross-disciplinary engagement enriches the analysis and fosters a more comprehensive understanding of gender as a multifaceted phenomenon shaped by various social forces. The contributions of Norman Fairclough and Toon A. Van Dijk to critical discourse analysis offer powerful methodological approaches for examining the complex interplay of language, power, and gender. By applying CDA within the context of gender studies and discourse analysis, researchers can uncover the deep-seated discursive practices that sustain gender inequalities and envision pathways toward more equitable social relations. 2. Ethnography of Communication. The ethnography of communication is a methodological approach within gender studies and discourse analysis that offers a nuanced understanding of how communication practices are shaped by and reflect cultural norms, including those related to gender. Deborah Tannen, a prominent figure in this field, has significantly contributed to our understanding of gendered communication patterns through her research. By applying principles of ethnography to the study of communication, Tannen has illuminated the complex ways in which gender influences conversational styles, interactional dynamics, and the interpretation of discourse in various social contexts. Deborah Tannen's contributions. Gender and conversational styles. Tannen's research has been pivotal in identifying and analyzing the distinct conversational styles that tend to be associated with men and women, rooted in socialization processes that start from early childhood. Her work, including the influential book, You Just Don't Understand, Women and Men in Conversation, 1990, explores how these gendered styles affect communication in personal relationships, the workplace, and other social settings. The concept of genderlect. Tannen introduced the concept of genderlect to describe the distinct linguistic styles that men and women use, which she argues can be understood as different dialects. This perspective emphasizes that gender differences in communication are not indicative of deficiency but are different ways of speaking, each with its own internal logic and coherence. Power dynamics in communication. Beyond identifying gender differences in communication styles, Tannen's work also addresses how power dynamics intersect with gender in shaping communication. She examines how conversational strategies can reflect and reinforce power relations, and how individuals navigate these dynamics in interaction. Methodological implications for gender studies and discourse analysis. Analyzing gendered discourse in context. The ethnography of communication, as applied by Tannen, encourages the analysis of gendered discourse within its cultural and social contexts. This approach allows researchers to explore not just what is said but how it is said, and how these communication practices are informed by wider societal norms and values related to gender. Exploring intersectionality in communication. Tannen's methodology opens avenues for exploring how gender intersects with other social identities, such as race, class, and age, in shaping communication patterns. This intersectional approach enriches the analysis by highlighting the diversity of communication styles within gender categories. Implications for social change. By elucidating the ways in which gendered communication patterns can lead to misunderstandings and conflict, Tannen's research has practical implications for improving interpersonal communication, fostering gender equality, and challenging stereotypes. Her work suggests strategies for recognizing and valuing different communicative styles, thereby promoting more inclusive and effective communication across gender lines. Deborah Tannen's application of the ethnography of communication to the study of gendered communication patterns has profoundly impacted both gender studies and discourse analysis. Her research not only provides critical insights into the linguistic and interactional dimensions of gender but also offers practical guidance for navigating and transforming gendered dynamics in communication. By grounding her analysis in the rich contexts of everyday interactions, Tannen bridges the gap between linguistic theory and social reality, contributing to a deeper and more nuanced understanding of gender and communication. Conclusion: the intersection of critical discourse analysis and the ethnography of communication within gender studies and discourse analysis has significantly advanced our comprehension of the nuanced ways in which language both reflects and constructs gendered identities and relations. Through the pioneering work of Norman Fairclough, Toon A. van Dijk, and Deborah Tannen, scholars are equipped with robust frameworks to analyze the complexities of discourse and its implications for power dynamics and gender construction. Fairclough and van Dijk's contributions to CDA have illuminated the potent role of discourse in maintaining and challenging societal structures, offering critical insights into the mechanisms through which gender inequalities are both perpetuated and resisted. Similarly, Tannen's application of the ethnography of communication has shed light on the cultural intricacies of gendered communication, promoting a deeper understanding of the conversational nuances that shape interpersonal interactions and societal perceptions of gender. These methodological approaches not only enhance academic discourse but also have profound implications for social change and policymaking. By uncovering the discursive practices that underpin gender norms and power relations, researchers can contribute to the broader project of promoting gender equality and challenging stereotypes. The insights gained through CDA and the ethnography of communication encourage a more inclusive and nuanced perspective on gender and communication, fostering a dialogue that transcends academic boundaries and impacts societal attitudes and practices. In conclusion, the confluence of critical discourse analysis and the ethnography of communication within the realms of gender studies and discourse analysis continues to offer fertile ground for exploration and innovation. By critically examining the intersections of language, power, and gender, these methodological approaches not only contribute to a richer theoretical understanding but also advocate for transformative social practices that recognize and valorize the diversity of gender expressions and relations. Frequently asked questions. What is critical discourse analysis, CDA? CDA is a methodological approach in gender studies and discourse analysis focused on how discourses perpetuate, challenge, and transform power relations in society. It emphasizes the role of language in social processes and the ways power dynamics are enacted through discourse. Who are key figures in the development of CDA? Norman Fairclough and Toon A. van Dijk are prominent contributors to CDA, offering analytical tools to explore how power dynamics are embedded in discourse. What is Norman Fairclough known for in CDA? Fairclough developed a three-dimensional framework for CDA, emphasizing discourse as a form of social practice that influences and is influenced by societal structures. This approach is valuable for examining gendered discourses and power inequalities. How does Toon A. van Dijk contribute to CDA? Van Dijk introduced a socio-cognitive approach, focusing on how discourse shapes social cognition and how power is exercised through discourse control. His work explores the relationships between power, ideology, and discourse, particularly in gender norms and stereotypes. What are the methodological implications of CDA for gender studies? CDA provides tools to analyze gendered power relations in discourse, supporting interdisciplinary research across gender studies, sociology, political science, etc. It enables the examination of gender representation, the construction of gender identities, and language use in reinforcing or challenging gender norms. What is the ethnography of communication? This approach within gender studies and discourse analysis examines how communication practices are shaped by and reflect cultural norms, including gender. It focuses on understanding gender influences on conversational styles and interactional dynamics. What has Deborah Tannen contributed to the study of gendered communication? Tannen's research identifies distinct conversational styles associated with men and women, introduces the concept of gender-lect, and explores how power dynamics and gender intersect in communication. Her work is based on the principle that gender differences in communication styles are rooted in early socialization. What does the concept of gender-lect refer to? Gender-lect refers to the distinct linguistic styles that men and women use, conceptualized as different dialects. This idea emphasizes the validity and internal logic of different gendered communication styles. How does the ethnography of communication approach benefit gender studies and discourse analysis? It allows for the analysis of gendered discourse within its cultural and social contexts, promoting an understanding of communication as informed by societal norms and values. This approach facilitates exploration of the intersectionality in communication and has practical implications for addressing gendered misunderstandings and promoting inclusivity. What are the practical implications of Deborah Tannen's research on gendered communication? Tannen's insights into gendered communication patterns offer strategies for improving interpersonal communication, fostering gender equality, and challenging stereotypes. By valuing different communicative styles, her work promotes more effective and inclusive communication across gender lines.